The term Good Samaritan, and its truncated version Samaritan, is used and abused freely by people both religious and those who are not. As the story goes, a lawyer asked a Galilean teacher, "Who is my neighbour?" The Galilean replied with a short story about tribalism. Who is my neighbour? Neighbours are usually those living in closest proximity, those of our neighbourhood, our village, our town, those of our tribe. By instinct and for practical purposes, human beings are tribal. We are most comfortable with those who are much the same as us. That used to be mainly our immediate neighbours, like those living next door. But the world has changed. We live side by side with people of many different tribes. So, who is my neighbour? The parable suggests my neighbour could be someone who needs my help. Equally, it could be someone who helps me. This is more than a matter of simple conscience. The parable emphasises the inherent goodness of those who reach beyond established tribal boundaries. Make no mistake, the enmity between the central characters in this story, between Jew and Samaritan, was not theoretical. It was real and acted out every day. So too, between modern-day Palestinian and Israeli, the relationship is often hostile and sometimes combative. Unsurprisingly for Jew and Samaritan, the argument was about religion, and it was fairly much a family conflict, for the two factions were closely related. The differences between them were negligible, but not negotiable. Each was convinced fully that the other was utterly wrong. This story is an invitation to consider the possibility that every person is of worth, calculated beyond the sum of her or his identity, whether identity is measured by tribe, by politics, by race or culture, or religion, or gender, or socioeconomics, or any other category you may wish to include. It invites us to put aside the history we think we know and the prejudices we harbour. A parable is a small fictional story which may illuminate the larger real-life picture. It invites listeners to place themselves within the story, making it their own. In this parable, we may locate ourselves in the various characters, in the priest the Levite, the Samaritan, the robbers, or the wounded Jewish man, the one dying on the road. This story confirms something we know in our hearts already, that when you or I lie bloodied in a ditch, it will not be our correct theology or our cherished affiliations which save us. Out on the road, amidst all the present dangers, divisions and tribalisms lose their importance. Out on the road, what will save you is a willingness to take hold of a caring hand proffered by whomever. And in turn, you may extend your help without favour to any whose need you encounter along the way. Addressing the lawyer's question to the Galilean, "Who is my neighbour?" My neighbour is someone or anyone who crosses ancient lines of separation between us and them. And in my crossing those same boundaries, I may become a good neighbour too. And now you may go and do likewise. As for me, I'm Roger James. I subscribe to reasoned religion, and I invite you to do the same.